What's goody, everybody? It's Full Time Trip. We are back in your establishment, screen and building with another video, man. Hope you're in good spirits after the Man City game. I am overall, but it is time to talk about the winter transfer window being closed and Arsenal signing not a soul. I gotta rant about it a little bit, so y'all bear with me, but like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about the business not being done, all the monitoring and all that other stuff that is not contributed to Arsenal signing any additional players for the ranks. And man, I just want to start by saying, I said this from the top of the January window, I said this from points throughout this window, not signing anybody is the worst possible outcome for this side. It is the worst possible outcome in a critical juncture where this team is adapting to so many different things against them: illness, injury, suspension, and still finding ways to win, still within touching distance of a potential, title race, albeit we're 6 points behind, but something could happen if we keep maintaining form. A team that finished third place in the Champions League league phase, and we're through straight to the knockouts. A team that needs, in my opinion, needs that injection of quality in front of goal to help them over the line, a set of legs, a body to help them, honestly multiple bodies to help them on an attacking front, to help the rotation, stop the weight bear, distribute the weight a little bit more on some of the players because they're getting run into the ground. We get none of that. We get none. And it goes down to ruthlessness at the end of the day. The same word that has plagued us for a long time, honestly. I want to say a good 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 seasons at least. I made a video probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, titled Arsenal Need to Be Ruthless. I'll put it in the description or somewhere in the corner here with the I button, but I said there needs to be ruthlessness installed and instilled into this team at 3 different levels, into this club at 3 different levels. One, at the team level, at the basic, on the pitch, on the grass, when the whistle blows and it's time to play, we need to be more ruthless in front of goals specifically. We need that level of just ruthless finishing, efficiency. When you see the chance, take it. When we're punishing teams with our outstanding overall play, out of possession, our pressing, just that ability to play through. When we get these chances that we create, when we get these chances, we have to be ruthless in finishing them. The jury's still out on that. I think I said it back then in that video too. We're gonna need some, again, a change in mentality from the squad that exists in this team now, and we're gonna need outside talent to help bolster that level of ruthlessness on the pitch. Again, Saka's not here, so it's a bit down. Ethan Nwaneri is a welcome change, a welcome sight of ruthlessness. I love to see that, but the jury's still out. It's not at the point where I want it to be. The next level, which I think is a real solid check off the list and is still going, ruthlessness at the managerial level. Arteta himself, the proactivity with substitutions, the pathway for players who are clearly talented, and again, avoiding your favoritism and preference when it comes to certain players, the minutes they played, all that good stuff. The game plans, being able to shift and be a bit more dynamic in them, not being so so staunch and standing so firm in some of your plans that they cause you to fail when things go left. And I think substitutions was a big one as well. I think I mentioned in the previous video, just being more proactive on that front. If you're seeing, again, game plans not going so well, being more adaptable and, again, making the changes that need to be made to have an effective game plan on the pitch, adjust and go for the win every time out. And I think he's done a lot to do that, especially with the resources that he's been, handed a lot in the squad that he currently has. I think he's done very well to adjust in a lot of situations across the season, and to have us where we are at this point with everything that's been going down. I gotta say, hats off. That has been a very big level of progress, and I think he's gotten more ruthless in that manner. And at the last level, I said at the club level, there needs to be ruthlessness. There needs to be a penchant to win and supplement this team with the things that they need to win. And I pointed out a few individuals. Again, I said Josh Kroenke, I said Richard Garlick, Tim Lewis, Edu previously, but now Jason Ado. You can kind of replace them like for like. There's that level of people that need to be ruthless. Now, obviously, the situation is not black and white, and this is not a Kroenke out thing, in my opinion. At first, I really thought it was. At first, I was really mad at the surface level, but the more I looked at it, and the more we've gotten reports from people like Nigel B. Golf and other people like Magic Hat on Twitter, shouts to them, the Magic Top Hat, and Nigel, they have been putting out some information and again throwing some articles through from the Athletic. Excuse me. Shout out to Gunner Blog as well. There's been some information that we're seeing coming through that it wasn't necessarily a Josh Kroenke thing, because I'll get into it, but he seems just as ambitious as Arteta is to win. But it's that middle level. It's that in between Josh and Arteta. It's those executives. It's that executive transfer team. It's those people that we're dealing with. And it's ruthlessness. It's ruthlessness. And I think it's honestly the opposite effect in the ambition of the people between that team and that team themselves. Now, obviously, I think this is down to a bit of history. This is down to a bit of risk averseness due to previous dealings of previous regimes and how they choose to operate now. Again, Nigel had a whole long thread of a tweet. I can definitely link in the description as well, just so if you want to see a whole breakdown of what he was thinking and what he was reading up on. Obviously, the Rose and Helly thing, overpaying for Pepe, the crazy shady ass shit that was going on behind the scenes with that, as we've heard, has been a big a red flag and a big marker of like, yo, we need to stay away from this, a big deterrent for the operations and how Arsenal move. So there's already been this precedent set of we need to make sure the financials are just right. We need to make sure we're in a very, very healthy position. Again, obviously the club is self-sufficient, so everything is critical at that point, you know what I mean? And there was another big point there where it was Kai, it was Jurrien Timber in summer 2023, and it was Declan Rice that we overpaid apparently 30 million pounds for, and that rubbed certain people in that transfer team the wrong way, because they didn't want to always jump over value for players, because we know what that did for the financial situation of the club. So from there, in those two instances, apparently this mentality was set to be really, again, risk averse and not have that level of aggressiveness and going after that stuff. In certain ways, I can absolutely understand that. You don't want to mess up, you don't want to have PSR on your ass, you don't want to do that thing. I get it, but at some point down the line, we're going from getting backups and trying to get things in and actively having plans in place to where Edu leaves, and he needs a revision over his time at Arsenal, because the more I look back on it, the more negatives I see personally. But there comes a point where the team is really having a disconnect with Arteta himself and what the squad needs and what the squad wants. I was seeing Rodrigo Muniz being offered as a striker option, and Sesko is the main links, Isak is the main links and stuff like that. I know some of them aren't really achievable at the time. I think Sesko very much was, but there were negotiations and links that were just being ignored, and targets that weren't really fitting what we needed at the time. And I feel like those options were brought in potentially more on a familiarity basis and potentially financial fits. And there were good fits for that, but those are not the intangibles and the tangible qualities that Arteta needs for this team. We saw, again, apparently Edu just had whole negotiation talks break down with Rafinha, and that would have been a godsend for our striker options. And so the theme is growing that due to the inexperience and the risk-averse nature of this executive team, Edu included, from his time, there's been a disconnect in us getting the targets that we need. And this has been my biggest worry as an Arsenal fan, looking at our short-term and long-term future as a club. This level of inexperience, again, the manager's inexperience, you know what I'm saying? He's been learning fast, obviously. But with this situation, it's created a level of inflexibility that it's cooking our chances, bro. It's killing our chances of potentially bolstering our squad to give us the best possible chance at winning major trophies. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's crazy. I'm looking in my head, I'm like, bro, going back to this window specifically, again, there's been all this information that we've been handed now that the window's over. We're seeing in this winter window, we tried to chase Sesko. Sesko wasn't available. They just didn't have the nous to get anything really jumping about him, even though we've been probably talking to him for a long time, probably a decent amount after that, or before that. And then we get the Ollie Watkins option. And apparently this was, we offer 40 for Ollie. Oh no, Ollie was offered to us apparently by Aston Villa. You know what I'm saying? Aston Villa offered Ollie Watkins to us. We opened up with 40. They said immediately reject. And we took too long to kind of come around and meet the 60 million pound valuation that they had. And the deal was just kaput because Duran went to Saudi. Durant went to Saudi, and then we were just too slow to act and move. We could have moved quicker at the top of this window. If Sesko was dead, which was like the first 2 weeks, we could have pivoted immediately or had that in the back burner ready to go and go for Ollie Watkins. Again, there was some friction about his age, friction about potential summer plans and all that stuff like that, possibly affecting what we're going to be doing. I can understand that to a certain degree. But if you're seeing a squad in this level of dire straits, especially from a forward position, not helping and supplementing them is negligence. That's gross negligence to me. And it's been my view, looking at the past few windows, especially since summer of last year. That summer window is actually very damning when you look at it. This executive team would rather risk the short-term, long-term health of this squad and the chance of winning major silverware that does yield real financial benefit if you are winners of big competitions, by the way. They would rather risk that than the potential headroom that they have financially and looking as financially fit as possible. They're risking actual competitive fitness for their financial fitness. And it's crazy. We've heard all the talks before. We have money to spend. We have plenty PSR headroom. We have plenty of options to tackle when it comes to that. The targets have been laid out. Arteta said, hey, listen, we can make move for this, this, and this. He said he's never denied a striker in his life. He said he never denied a striker like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the fit is good and they know the talks are there, they know the push is potentially there, he's not going to deny it. You know what I mean? I don't know how to make heads or tails of some of this, man. It's a disconnect. There is a disconnect between the ruthlessness and ambition of the owner, honestly, because again, the report came through that it was approved. Josh was like, hey, go after Watkins. We saw that in the news. We saw it in these reports in The Athletic. He's like, yo, Josh Kroenke said, let's go after Watkins. When he came to London, he got to the whole meetings and stuff like that. He's like, yo, listen, I'm cool with that. Let's go after Watkins. Let's do that. You know, and it's up to the rest of them, those three, the transfer team, to make the deal happen. And it seems like this is the common stumbling block. There has either been direct links and direct, requests from players that absolutely will take us to the next level, that Arteta's promoting, that Josh is backing, that people are trying to push forward. But this negotiation team, again, previously Edu, Richard Garlick, Tim Lewis, Jason Ado right now, the level of inexperience and just lack of ability on this front has put us in a really, really tough position. We can't get what we want because they don't know how to get it for us. That's what it is. And this is the biggest thing for me going forward. The seriousness of this institution is highly dependent on what they do next. And I'm not talking about their signings. I'm talking about who they bring in, not players. Talking about the SD, looking at their current status, looking at how they operate now. I'm not going to sit here and completely, crap on them and stuff like that, because they have done great business. Again, Declan Rice getting that deal over the line, although there was some friction trying to get it over the line. The fact that they did, the fact that they had to, went through these situations, got them. You know what I'm saying? I think Havertz has been a net positive. Again, despite the finishing things and despite the desperation for people wanting a striker, I think he's been a net positive with his overall play and how he's contributed to the team. I think that's very good. Securing David Raya, I think that was a real good market opportunity that turned into a fantastic deal. He's one of the best keepers in the world right now. There have been great stuff going on, again, but if it's not in the context of we're talking to this player for 6 months plus and we automatically have the pre-contract agreement, although it is useful, it's very useful. I'm not going to deny and discredit that form of transfer activity. I will not do that because that creates so much better, positions for us when it comes to signing certain players. Not every situation is going to be that cut and dry. Not every situation is going to be that easy to deal with over that period of time. And that's what I want people to understand. Not every situation in football will ever be the same. Everything changes. Every season is something new. Every season there's a new situation. Every month there's a new change in opinion. Every week there's some different visit or call or talk that may change something, and you have to be ready to pivot. You have to be ready to adapt, especially if you're seeing the situation at club level and you're thinking, man, Saka's injured. Oh, Jesus effectively, Jesus is a whole nother thing that I feel like that's out of their control, but that definitely screws us. But that shouldn't have happened in the first place. We shouldn't have had to just have Jesus. We should have signed another forward, whether that be a winger or another center forward on top of Havertz, since Jesus was out from before. Since before that, we should have had another forward in my opinion. We should have had some investment in that. The lack of investment in forwards has been crazy. And that risk-averse nature is honestly creating that risk at the club level, at the performance level. Their lack of risk there, their lack of risk financially, creates so much more risk on these players, because I don't want to think worst case scenarios. But again, people are like, yo, what if Havertz goes down? Hamstring. We have officially 0 strikers except for Butler or Odieji. You know what I'm saying? Except for him. We have no other options as senior forwards, senior strikers, senior center forwards who can play in that position. We have no option. Arteta today in a presser was talking about we have to be very adaptable with our options. We got to get possibly Trossard can play the 9, Nwaneri can play the 9, Sterling can play the 9. We're playing Sterling in the 9? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that we have to get to this point shows the situation is dire in my opinion. And the club has decided, you know what? We'll take some of these things. Oh, Havertz, he looks fine. He looks like he can kick on. Saka, he might be back in March. We don't know. I don't know that for sure. His timeline may be the end of March, and who knows what can happen between then. Failing to capitalize and being ruthless enough to support this team, it's egregious. It's egregious negligence to me, and I feel hard done by. I really do feel hard done by, because I'm like, bro, we've put ourselves in such good positions given so many circumstances. But it seems like when it comes to supporting this club and getting the footballing objectives of this club done, getting closer to those, platforming this team to achieve those objectives best, that's always played second fiddle to maximizing financial health. And again, if from a generalist perspective, we're sitting in a really good place. We have a lot of money. We have a lot of headroom apparently, but the club just don't want to let it go because they want to stick to their perfect plan. But opportunities will pass us by if we don't pivot away from the perfect plan sometimes. Again, would it have potentially gotten some people upset if Isak didn't come and Watkins did? Maybe it did. But would Watkins, the bagsman who scored, 30-something GA in the past, season and change? Would a certified bagsman like that, on top of the option that we already have, would that have been a kick in the ass to potentially spur us on to win? That could have definitely been. That could have definitely been in both competitions, in the Champions League and in the league. So it just feels like gross negligence. And my mind is automatically cast to the most important decision I think this club can make and has to make in this lead up to the summer. Who will be our sporting director? Who will it be? That's my question. That's what I'm looking at in terms of what ambition, if this club is a serious institution or not. That's where I'm at. Because if this club decides, you know what, Jason Ato's cool, he seems like he's a nice guy. He does what he needs to do. You know what I'm saying? No offense. I've never met the man personally in my life. I got no hard feelings towards him like that. It's football. But if they're deciding that inexperience but comfort because they know the guy is the best option, I don't know. In this situation, in this instance, it's hard. And because my mind is automatically cast back to signing Arteta in the first place. He's inexperienced, but we know Mikel Arteta. I feel like that's me personally. I feel like that's different because Mikel Arteta is a generational damn manager. That's just me. I don't think I've seen anything generational from these guys and getting some over the line, Edu included. You know what I mean? That hasn't come from extraordinary circumstance. No, that came from a long time of it's been coming planning. Like it's been on the way. We've been talking to Declan Rice for like a year and a half, dog. Of course he wants to come. You know what I mean? We've been talking to this guy and selling him on the project, and Mikel Arteta's been talking to the dude, and he's like, "Yo, I came here because of this guy." You know what I mean? Like, I think that decision of who we're bringing in as sporting director will have massive implications on our seriousness and our ability to be a serious supreme institution at the top of world football. That's where I'm at. Whether it's Dan Ashworth, whether it's somebody else, I don't know, bro. Siri, sit down. I'm not talking to you, brother. I'm not talking to you. Relax. But I really am of the thought that that is the most important signing that is to be made at this point in Arsenal's just status. You know, it is the most important signing in my opinion. Not at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because that will determine how serious we are and how capable we are of getting things over the line for the overall health of this team and the platforming of our team to possibly win big things. That's where I'm at. But honestly, I want to leave this off on a positive note. I'm gonna be real. It's on us. We are the only people as Arsenal fans that have this team's back. I'm gonna be real. In this January window, we saw no movement. They said, listen, we'll let them try and, rest and probably come back to full health. We'll see what they can do. We're not going to give them any signings because we don't want to deviate from our plans. We're going to risk our opportunity to win now, to keep money in our pocket and hope that these guys get back to the health that they need, get back to the place that they need to be. We'll see what's going on. We'll run the risk, An opportunity to win now is in jeopardy. And the only people that really got their back now, this squad, Arteta and this team, the only people that really got their back now is us Arsenal fans. So I'm seriously, this is a call to action or whatever, bro. Get behind this team. Get behind the team. Whatever happens, get behind the team. These guys have been fighting tooth and nail, busting their ass to try and win something big and stay in the hunt, stay in the fight, adapt and adjust through all the BS that's happened, PGMOL decisions, injuries, illness, suspension, all that other stuff. We've been fighting. This club has been fighting. This team has been fighting to get us over the line and bring us something that we've been clamoring for years and years. All I'm saying is, we're the only people that can really get behind them now. The window's shut. Nobody else can help them. Nobody else can help them but us. So all I'm saying is, as an Arsenal fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're seeing stuff go through, back these guys, support these guys. If you're in the stadium, yo, you better lose your voice in there every week. If you're an away fan, I don't gotta worry about away fans, but lose your voice in there every week, spurring them on, helping, giving them some type of energy, bruh. You know what I mean? If anybody got a sensu bean out there to give these players, please deliver it to them at the nearest convenience. Go right to Sober Reality Training Center and just throw it out, throw it over the grass, bro. Throw it over. Like, we have to get behind this team. It's as simple as that. Till the wheels fall off. There's no other option. I don't want to see no infighting. I don't want to see no people slagging Havertz or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm tired of that, bro. I'm really tired of that. Yes, we can have a moment and be like, damn, I wish we really scored that. You know what I'm saying? Damn, you got to do better right there. Cool. But if things are win, lose, or draw, blah, 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 you want to kill these players? That's the only players we have. That's the only players we have. So it makes sense to just get behind this team, get behind this manager, and we give every ounce of energy to them that we possibly can. Whether you're in the stadium, whether you're again watching from home like I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? All this other stuff, at a bar, at whatever. Give your energy to these guys, man. They need that. They need that. They're not getting it from anywhere else. So that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. But a lot of stuff is going, still a lot of season left to play. I really think that the transfer window put a real dent in hopes for all these competitions because we didn't have the reinforcements needed to help carry on. And one of the biggest things that's always affected us is fitness and running ourselves into the ground in important junctures. But despite that, I'm an Arsenal fan. So I'm going to keep believing, bro. I'm going to keep believing until it's literally mathematically impossible, till we're knocked out of every competition, till we're, again, dead in the dirt and we don't have anything else left in us for the season. I just really hope this doesn't have any bad knock-ons in terms of further injury and fitness issues. But listen, I believe. I just got to keep believing. And I think y'all should too. But let me know about this whole transfer window, what you're thinking going forward. potential options in the striker position now. Let me know about all that in the comment section below. But I will see you guys tomorrow, basically, because I think we play Newcastle at like 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern time. I can't remember, but I will see you all soon. It's been full-time trip. Don't worry, it's all the time I got. But see y'all later, man. TOYG.